a program that could turn your business ideas into a reality.
From Studio 8A, coverage you can count on in high definition. This is KOMU 8 News at 10.
Police officers responded to a fight early this morning at 10th and Broadway, the same place where shots were fired 2 weeks ago. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Reek.
And I'm Greg Mantell. The fight broke out at the intersection of 10th and Broadway. At least 7 units were called to the scene along with an ambulance. Here's what police officers told KOMU 8 News reporters. Several people began fighting at the intersection. No weapons were involved. At least 2 people required medical attention afterward. Police arrested some of the people involved in the fight. KOMU 8 also spoke with a public information officer this afternoon who said 2 people were arrested. One was charged with resisting arrest and assaulting an officer, while another was charged with tampering. He says as far as he knew, the arrests were unrelated to fighting. One witness told KOMU 8 News he saw a man tased by police. If you were out on the water at the lake this weekend, you probably saw some increased patrolling.
KOMU 8's Meredith Albert explains how a focus on drunk boating brought this national campaign to Missouri.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol says since the start of Operation Dry Water in 2009, boating fatalities with alcohol named as a contributing factor have decreased from 19% to 17% nationwide. Entrepreneurs in Columbia will soon have the chance to work with a program being developed to help business startups. KOMU 8's Andrea Park explains how the city's Business Booster is starting new efforts to help the community. Aspiring entrepreneurs can apply for the new program. Ready will pick a few companies that have products or services with the potential to bring money into the community each year. The weather cooled down today. Let's send it over to Rosie to see what the weather will be like this week. Rosie, what's going on?
Unwanted guests can cause significant problems to the environment. One of Missouri's most prevalent invasive species is the crawfish.
KOMU 8's Tom Castleman tells us what can be done to protect our environment in this 8 Goes Green report.
Top temperatures there into the low, if not middle 80s, mostly sunny skies, and the good news is overnight lows into the middle 60s, so evening temperatures are going to be in the 70s. That's going to be a really nice setup, and Jim is one to tell tall tales. But I think that you have a pretty good memory for facts, am I right?
Well, yes, and considering last year on this day it was 102.
Yes.
I had just started here on July 1st, 1997, and on 4th of July, 4 days after I started, we set a record low high. The high that day was only 68 degrees in
68
Columbia.
Degrees would be a bit painful, don't you think? You can't be busting out all sorts of tank tops for the 4th of July. I'll take the middle 80s that we'll have.
I hear you. All right, Rosie, thanks.
Thanks.
Americans showed their pride coast to coast today.
We'll look at all the cities that held gay pride parades. The European Union is demanding the United States explain a report in a German magazine that claims Washington has been spying on the group. Der Spiegel reported on its website yesterday that the NSA bugged EU offices and hacked into the computer networks. A follow-up article released today reports the U.S. taps 500 million phone calls, emails, and text messages in Germany in a typical month. The president of the EU, Martin Schulz, said today if the report was true, it could build a level of mistrust in relations with the U.S. Thousands of protesters took to the streets of Rio de Janeiro today, expressing their anger toward the government for spending money on major sporting events instead of on public services. Demonstrators protested against the government again, this time hours before Brazil and Spain faced off in the Confederations Cup final. Local news reports about 5,000 Brazilians protested peacefully around the Maracana Stadium where the soccer match is being held.
Okay, take a look at this. A shark attack.
70s, guys.
Well, I'm prepared for the shark attack now. But does anybody have any idea what time it might be?
I'm pretty sure that I can answer that for you, Greg. It's time for the KOMU 8 Sports Show with our very beloved Chris Gervino.
In HD. Good night.